Hi guys, welcome to another podcast lifted by Lyfeproof. Today we'll be talking about the creative industry and what it's like being a creative as well as working at the same time. How long have you been working as a creative?
I've been on stage since I was 4.
Okay.
But in terms of working and earning as a creative, I would say probably, how old am I now? About 7 years. I'd say
Okay.
about 7 to 10 years is working.
Do you feel like it's changed? 7 years, that's over a bit of half of a decade.
It has changed a lot. It's changed a lot. When I was younger, even just looking at the way that you got opportunities, it was more live, it was more real. You kind of just went out and did a church gig and someone was like, "You're great, do you want an opportunity?" Whereas now it's a lot more, you gotta put yourself out there. You've got to really you've got to be a product and you need to know how to sell that product.
Do you have any idea of why the reason would that be? Is there like so many creatives now, or?
I think it's got something to do with social media, but I don't want to put all of the blame on social media. I think it has a lot to do with the industry itself, and it is very saturated. There's everybody I know does something creative, especially in the music scene. It's a very, very saturated place. So
It's
I feel
become
like
quite common now, basically.
yeah, I think because it's so common, they're looking for closer to the finished product than they used to be. Whereas before it was like, you'd look for the spark in someone. That person's got so much potential, and they nurture it and they put millions of dollars into it. And now it's like, if you don't have at least 10-15K followers to start, then the labels aren't looking at you.
That's the harsh truth, unfortunately. Okay. How do you think the education side works when it comes to the creative people? Like, do you just wake up and go to school and get education, or literally do you wake up and you do your own thing creative wise?
I mean, it depends. So for me, I did a bit of both. So
Okay.
like I said, I've been on stage since I was 4, but as I've got older, I went to college for music, and then that didn't really do what I thought it would. You know, like when you watch Glee and you think hey, everyone's gonna be singing in the in the corners and breaking out into song. It wasn't really like that, and I guess because I didn't do the uni route like a lot of other people did, I didn't build those networks that people do. But I found that education on your own terms was a lot more useful for me. I found it to be what worked for me. I know a lot of people who went to uni for music and other creative fields. I feel like music specifically, you don't really need university for, unless you want to get really technical and learn all of the scales and that kind of thing. You can still do that by yourself. But if you really want to, you can go to uni for it. But yeah, a lot of other creative skills, maybe graphic design, or if you're going to do CGI and that kind of thing, you probably need the facilities that a university can provide more so than the lectures, in my opinion.
What do you think of short courses? So not exactly education wise, but
They are life. If anything, guys, I don't know where I'm looking. Yeah, no, short courses are there for the win. My whole life has been built off short courses and just learning yourself, picking up a book and doing some education on your own terms is really, really important. But short courses, especially while you're under 25 and can get things free, get them free. Take as much as honestly, as much as you can take from the free creative industries. Take it, because once you go over 25, guys, money.
So you've done some of these short courses yourself?
Loads, yeah. I did a Prince's Trust course, which was great. I did that for digital marketing though.
Okay.
And I would say for anyone who is a creative freelance wise, learning marketing is your best friend. You can be amazing at what you do. If no one knows you do it, then it's completely useless. So yeah, digital marketing courses. I've done short music courses as well too. I can learn how to do engineering and production and that kind of thing. So yeah, I would definitely recommend short courses. And then again, on top of it, go learn yourself. YouTube University is...
Okay, my next question is going into the creative working industry. So if we were to put next to each other short courses and also actual education, you've gone into the working industry now and you've had both of them, I believe.
Yeah.
What do you think has helped you more going into the working industry, and what does the work industry think of it? That makes sense.
The work industry is very interesting when it comes to having a passion that is creative and performative.
Okay.
Certain places are happy to take you on, like bars. Bars love creatives. Like they love it because they know that you don't mind doing the late hours, the long hours, and you will grind for what you want, and you need that money to fund your career, so
Yeah.
you're gonna do it. Whereas a lot more like career-based careers are a little bit more sketchy around you having something that you want to take off and have as your life goal. Do you know what I mean? Because they're like, well, they want an employee that's going to sit down for the next 10, 15 years of their life and just, give it all to the company. But really, like, if you want to do something big and you want to be like the next Beyonce, then you're going to need to you're going to need to kind of look into what's the best way to fund your career and what works for you, and it gives you time as well.
What do you do in the work industry now?
So I'm a freelance creative in the work industry. I also work with Lyfeproof, but outside of that, I work as a music consultant. So I work with independent artists that are looking to basically get into being an independent artist and help them write music, brand themselves, and just find their feet.
How did you get into that?
People kept asking me questions.
Okay.
Like, honestly, guys, like, if you can monetize something that you've learned, monetize it, because people will pay for what they won't go and learn themselves, if that makes sense. Like, a lot of people won't go out of their way to sit down and watch 95 million hours of how to produce a song on YouTube. I will. And then I'm going to find what works the best, and I'm going to put it together and be like, that works perfect for me. And someone will come up to you and just be like, but how did you get that? People will even say, how did you get on a podcast? That information is monetizable information. Yeah. So I think that it just takes the cojones. I don't know if you're allowed to say that one, but it's in Spanish. It takes a little bit of like muster to get up and have the nerve to say, it costs this much to get that information from me. It costs this much to get that network from me. I've got like spreadsheets and lists of things that I need in order to keep in track of my music that I can sell as templates to other people. So it's just get creative. You're a creative. Best way to put it.
You said you do, was it freelance, did you say?
Yeah, freelance.
Okay. Where do you find the time to do a bit of your own music and stuff?
All the time. I think one of the best things I saw was like on social media where it said I quit my job so that I could work for myself and now I work 24/7. It's real. Like, my working schedule, before I clock into my day job, I'm working.
Wow.
As soon as I've clocked out of my day job and put my daughter to sleep, I'm working. I don't stop working until like 11:30, like any day of the week. Sunday, maybe a day off, but even then I work. If you ask anyone around me, it's like, what's Lyric doing? She's probably working.
Wow.
So, yeah.
It's impressive. How long have you been doing that?
For forever, really. But in terms of working non-stop, probably since COVID, to be honest with you, because before COVID, I was gigging enough to like pay my bills from just doing what I love. But COVID came in and really kicked everyone in the butt and showed them that life can really shake up for you. So everybody had to find new ways of being creative, and it really showed, like, if it was really the end of the world, who was gonna, kick through it and who wasn't. And it was hard for everyone, like mentally hard. And I think I worked maybe unhealthily and maybe still a little bit unhealthily to get through like fixing the issues of what the pandemic did to us.
So how do you think being an independent creative has impacted your mental health?
The thing is, I hate to put the blame on being an artist. I'd rather blame everything else in the world, other than like I've just picked one of the hardest careers in the world to pursue. But it does impact, especially when there are people around you that are blowing up, people that you've helped. That burns. Like, it burns. I have helped so many people and seen them like surpass me, stop talking to me, because they're blown now. Wow. And that's a common thing. Like, people will literally unfollow you. I've went to somebody's show and was like so excited to see her. I hadn't seen her in maybe a year or so. Last time I saw her, she ran up to me on the train and she was like, "Oh my God, Lyric, I'm so happy to see you." I went to her show, now she's blown up. Gave her a hug and she was like, "Sorry, Oh, and I was like, oh, like, I helped you. What do you mean? Oh, okay. So
Wow.
yeah, those kinds of things really do happen.
Does that happen
So,
often?
yeah. People will be like, oh, you know that song we did together that's on YouTube, Spotify, everywhere. Can you take it down, please? Because my label said, and you're like, you ain't got no label. You just get some fans now. Like you just,
Wow.
yeah. So you gotta take a lot of L's, and that does affect you. Like it will make you feel away, but at the same time, I feel stuck, I guess, in a way, because it's like I can't imagine myself doing anything else, so I have no choice but to do it, and it helps with my mental health too. And I feel like that's a thing that people like use creativity for therapy.
Yeah.
So it's a really it's a catch-22 and a half. Like seriously, you end up like doing the thing you love, putting it out into the world in a really vulnerable way, and hoping that people love it too. And sometimes you don't get that love in return, and people be like, that was kind of trash, or that auto-tune sounds off, and you're like, I'm not even auto-tuned, that was my voice, mate. Like it's sad. So yeah, it gets iffy.
How do you deal with it all?
Therapy.
Therapy.
We're
jumping straight.
Yeah. Honestly, for me, it got too much, and I have a tendency to get in a relationship with other artists as well, and that's messy because everyone's mental health is up and down, and when they're doing good and you're not, you're like, yeah, that's great. I wish someone loved me. So yeah, you end up in these kind of struggles.
Is it creative therapy that you're doing, or
no, I get good old CBT.
Okay.
But yeah, I say therapy, journaling is a massive thing. Like it helps like nothing else, and just delving into doing the things that I love without anything attached to it. So I feel like musically I have to be so specific and kind of think about how people are going to perceive me, and can I make a video to this song, and blah blah blah. Everything's really technical and businessy now that I do it as an actual career. But there's certain things that I do just for me, like I paint, I cook, anything that's creative but not like bound to earn me money. Just that helps a lot as well.
So you do a lot of these things that doesn't earn you money. You say bound to earn you money.
Yeah, things that aren't bound to. They could if I chose to pursue them, but things that I do specifically not to earn money, and that is something that's hard to do, especially if you work like I do. Like to actually go out of your way to say, you know what, I'm gonna sew for the sake of sewing. Like people are like, what I could be doing better things with this. I think that's what I still battle with. It's I could be doing better things with my time than enjoyment. Like what am I just out here enjoying myself for when I could be earning money? Like there's a recession, guys. Like it's like
with the cost of living
the cost of living's rising, everything. And even before that, like COVID, like I said, the 2 years of that was like, oh my god, like there's no gigs, and everyone wants you to do performances online, and you're like, I don't have performance equipment in my house. I've had to work my butt off during COVID to like rebuild a home studio and things like that, and it's just it's just not an easy feat at all, but it's worth it because you do what you love.
That goes onto my next question about like fundings. So as an independent creative, how do you fund for your career?
You budget unless you are someone who comes from a really affluent family, or you have some like mad side hustles that earn you like grands. Then music's and anything creative is really an expensive game. Like it's very expensive.
Definitely.
So most of us work day jobs or do freelance work. We do something that isn't music to fund the music, or you can find something that is kind of within the industry but not exactly what you want to be doing. Like with music, there's sync licensing, which is like making music for TV and adverts and that kind of thing, which in your head you're like, that's so corny, but you're like, 25k per song placement is not corny. So you start figuring out different ways to do the thing you want to do. And personally, I think it's really smart to start within your industry, do something like what's it called, apprenticeship or something in your industry if you can. If not, just ask people, just be like, yo, can I come like work at your studio for free 10 hours a week? I just want to see how it runs in the studio. People might say no, but there's going to be someone out there that is struggling and needs a studio assistant that's going to say yeah. So Yeah, it's about just figuring out how you can funnel funds. And if it's literally just your day job, say you earn like £10 an hour, that's what, 1,300 a month or something like that. Then realistically, you say to yourself, a video is anywhere between £200 to £500. So how much of my wage can I put aside for just the video? And then you have to think about mixing and mastering and the actual cost of the beat if you don't produce your own music.
Yeah.
For planning a project is like literally project management. It's not for the light-hearted people. You've got to really sit down and say like, boom, this is my end goal, and then reverse engineer it and figure out exactly what needs to be done, then do it.
There's a lot of risks involved as well, isn't there? Like, especially when you invest in something.
Yeah.
So what do you think the biggest risk is when you work as a creative, as an independent creative?
I genuinely think that has something to do with what your end goal is.
Okay.
But all in all, the biggest risk is loss of time. I think that's the biggest thing for me, honestly. Like, a lot of people work for 10, 15, 20 years towards a goal, and because they haven't popped off today, they give up on that goal. All of that time, energy, money, everything wasted. Now, I understand that not everyone is going to be the next Beyonce, but everyone can make a living off the thing that they love. You just really, really have to put your ego to the side for one.
Yeah.
Like, that's a massive thing. You've got to stop thinking that you're going to be the lead singer of every band that you're in. Suck it up and really think about, do you want to make a living off the thing that you love, or do you just want to be famous? Because if you just want to be famous, then go,
You can be famous for
memes, shake your booty on the internet,
Honestly.
or whatever. Don't do that, your children. But memes, catfish. A friend of mine, is so insistent that I start a channel for my cat. He's like, you will make money, start a cat video channel, and I'm like, but why? But realistically, my cat mashes up the house all the time. I could make peas off my cat and then funnel that into my music if I really wanted to, but it's really up to you what decisions you want to make to fund that and do that. But the biggest risk is wasting your time. Do it because you love it, and do it because you can't imagine doing anything else.
That's a good advice. Do you have any other advice for any creatives out there? As someone who's been doing this for like 7 years.
Well, forever, really. Yeah, I would probably say the best advice I can give, other than just don't stop, is networking is so underrated. Yeah, build a network, and again, your ego is your enemy. It's your enemy. I don't care if you think you're the best. Yeah, you could be the best, and tell yourself you're the best every day. However, when you step out into a room with other people, that ego needs to deflate a whole lot. Yeah, you have to know that you're not, even if you know everything, you don't know everything, and you have to know that and go into the room ready to learn, ready to give what you have to offer in the most humble way possible, and you will see your career flourish. If you act like you're the ish, you will get treated like ish.
I think that's it for today. If anyone wants to get in contact with you, what are your social platforms?
Okay, so if anyone's looking to get in contact with me, all of my socials are at official lyric. That's LYRIQE. And if you've got any questions about being an independent artist or anything we spoke about today, then you can email me at contact@lyric.co.uk.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to follow our socials at Lyfeproof UK, and stay tuned for next time. Thank you.